we gather information like a puzzle, like puzzle pieces, but we don't take the time to build the puzzle, to think deeply.
It took us to lose our business. It took me to lose my health. It took me to lose my relationship with my wife. It took me to lose pretty much every single thing I worked for my entire life. It took my entire vision to be scattered, to go and search to find the answers within rather than outside of myself. And that happened in 2007. There's the various ways. I mean, you can go and meditate. I've got a friend who meditated for seven days in Tibet and found his purpose. So I'm sure there's hundreds of different ways. I do not think it's something you can do logically. I do not think it's something you can just go, okay, this is my purpose. You know, negative talk in our own minds, it limits us. It's interesting. I became aware of how I spoke to myself about 15 years ago. I was shocked. I mean, I would never allow anyone else to speak to me like that. But the way I spoke to myself in my own head, like, you stupid fool, you idiot. And I eradicated that way of speaking to myself because it's so limiting.
You need to be able to use the power of your mind to rewire the brain. And that's not a quick fix. And we live in an age where we know technologically it's just so easy to get so much information at your fingertips, but we gather information like puzzle pieces, but we don't take the time to build the puzzle, to think deeply. And if you don't think deeply, you don't activate the non-conscious stores of your mind correctly, where our memories are stored, and then they won't move to the subconscious, which is just below consciousness, and then they won't move into the conscious mind, or they'll move in a very haphazard way. So essentially the time it takes to really gather up knowledge in your mind that you have in order to build new information, which is coming in from what you've read and what you're experiencing, does take time. There's no quick fix. It's good old-fashioned hard work.
Thank you for watching. Just a quick reminder to grab your gift bag for entrepreneurs in the link below. It's a gift bag for entrepreneurs to the value of 57,000 Rand, free of charge. All you need to do is activate it. Part of that gift bag for entrepreneurs is a voucher of 3 months for 3 months free accounting services from a company, Dryk Holdings. All you need to do is activate the gift bag voucher in the link below, and we will be in contact with you as soon as you've done that.
In my thinker mindset, which is one of the first mindsets, if you don't actually take time every day to meditate, to think deeply, to just be aware of your surroundings, and just to switch off to the external and switch on to your mind, your brain will actually break down. The circuits in your brain will actually pull apart. And if you want to take it from a Christian perspective, David meditated. So meditation is just getting in that space where you find out what's going on in your head and get order in your thoughts, and also get creative. And it's fantastic for boosting brain health and for boosting creativity and for boosting mind health. You should do it frequently during the course of a day. Like, very often I'm in a meeting and I'll go zone in and out into a thinker moment, into a meditative moment, or to reboot the brain. And then also frequently during the day, at least 15 to 16 minute period in the day I'll take. And I recommend that, and that's what the research shows, to just meditate with nothing, no phones, computers, nothing, just relaxing. Just meditate, just getting your mind, it becomes very active. When you switch off to the external, the internal networks of your brain really become very active. So it's a vital and healthy and very important human function.
Being in the entrepreneurial field, one of the things that you have to live with is it's not going to be perfect. No startup is perfect. So if you are overly critical on yourself, and if you are a perfectionist, those are the two things that will most likely stop you from being successful. So if you are a new entrepreneur starting up with stuff, you have to focus on what are the things that you can control, can make a difference on, and what are the things for either for now or for the future that you cannot control. And then distinguish between the two and start focusing on the things that you can change. And most important, absolutely the most important thing is have an absolute clear goal, and no matter what happens, never lose focus on that. Because the difference between success and failure in entrepreneurship is your ability to apply your resources to get your goal through your focus. And if you're not focused, you can be the most energetic, you can do whatever you can, but you will not be successful.
If you're in a positive state of mind, you start thinking from a solution-based state of mind. You know, so I think all your decision making, all your problem solving, all your troubleshooting, all comes from a place of positive thought, which is much easier to come up with something that's solution-based than focusing on the negative and then trying to come up with something positive. It's impossible. It's impractical. And I think we become so conditioned with social media. We've been so conditioned with the news. We've been so conditioned with, you know, the stuff that comes to us on a daily basis, and we feel like that's our reality. But our reality is anything we want it to be.
Exactly.
Our reality is a matter of perspective. Where you stand is your reality. Yeah. Like your reality is different to mine, and our reality is different to the next person out on the street. You know, we don't. Everyone's always coming from things from a different matter of perspective.
The next model that I implemented was the joy as a GPS. And you mentioned, and so just if anyone's not familiar, that's, you know, your joy comes from 3 P's: your people, places, and pursuits. And you either get more or less joy based on those. So when it came to people, which you mentioned, and it spoke to me mostly first, were the people. And so I made the list of the 5 people that increased my joy, and that was relatively easy. But what seemed to be easier was to highlight the 5 people in my life that were causing me the most stress. The places, you know, I really spent time getting my household to a point where I really like declutter. Paintings that really inspired me. I never had plants, so I put plants everywhere, flowers, like things that, you know, never really resonated with me at first. But I said, wait a minute, what would it be like if I actually enjoyed coming home? And so I put my decorating shoes on, and I've, you know, so I've increased my enjoyment of my immediate environment. But to stay with this principle, the pursuit is kind of where I'm focusing my energy on now.